Hi, thanks for spending some time with me today. As I'm recording this, it's Christmas Day, and I hope those of you who are religious will forgive me for working on Christmas Day, but priests and church choirs work on Christmas Day, so I hope this work ends up being of some value to you. Now, if you understand my schedule, you probably realize that you may be seeing this around Valentine's Day or later, maybe even St. Patrick's Day. So, be that as it may. I'm returning now to trying to record some of the Ost miniature etudes. And the reason why I like these so much is because they're challenging for the trumpet, but not too challenging if you're an intermediate or advanced player. Now, if you're a beginning player, some of them you might be able to play, and that's great. You have to kind of choose your material to fit your ability. And the goal here is very simple. Enough challenge to keep your mind engaged, to create kind of the effect of playing a game. Not so easy that your mind becomes disengaged and you get bored, but not too challenging, so you start to get frustrated and kind of struggle a little bit. And that's all adjustable. So I'm just going to play through number 7, which is called dueling, which most of you probably know is a formal kind of fighting. But I don't know if this will sound like that or not, but hopefully I won't be fighting with the trumpet as I play it. So here we go. Well, as I'm returning to these, obviously I need a little bit more practice, but I hope that gives you an idea. Now, the first problem that I run into is I have to know it a little bit better. I'm having a little trouble seeing it at this point. Memorizing it would be a good idea. That'll probably take a little bit more time and effort than I have to spend on these, but in any case, I'm trying to learn the music quickly, and so, but I end up making mistakes because I'm actually concentrating on playing the trumpet. And a lot of us have this problem. In other words, I notice that my throat's getting a little tight, or I notice something with the pitch or with the sound, or I forgot to play that articulation, or my rhythm's a little bit off, or gee, how does this passage go again? So there's all this interference, all these impressions and thoughts and sensations that are coming through very, very quickly as I'm playing. So I'm not really free to concentrate on the music. So memorization is a good idea. I should probably do it someday. Actually, I think I did play Charlie Etudes for you memorize. So if you go to the selected Etudes section, you can look at that. I don't know whether I was actually still reading the music or I was just playing it from memory, but I think I was playing that one from memory. These are short, and that's another good reason or lack of an excuse why I should probably be memorizing them. Note to self, do more memorization. But let's dig into this a little bit. These are written by someone who plays the trumpet and knows what kinds of issues present problems for trumpet players. Now, people have different strengths and weaknesses, different kinds of skills. We all pretty much know that if we look at a repertoire list for an audition, for example, some of the pieces on the list will go like, oh good, I get to play that. That's great, I love that one. And other ones will go like, uh-oh, should I really go to this audition? I don't know if I can play that well enough. And all that's good information, but all it means is it helps you to know what skills you need to work on. Now this one in particular, this one I don't like pretty much. I don't like it. And the reason is I'm having trouble, I'm getting tight going back and forth between slurring and tonguing. So I'd go right back to the Clark studies and start practicing those things. But I'm going to try and do it in context for you today. So here we go. What we're dealing with is gestures and sustaining at the top of the staff. So I already found an area that's a little awkward for me. You notice how I had to slow it down a little bit? Good. That's a hint that, like, oh yeah, I need to keep that in mind when I'm playing, so that I can, when I'm practicing, so I can know what to work on in simpler forms, going back to drills and very simple studies to have the technique. What's the technique I'm looking for? Look at what happens. You have ascending lines, and then you have descending lines, and this happens all the way through the piece. So you have this upward gesture, and for most people that's going to be pretty natural because trumpet players generally go and they blow harder when they're playing higher. But then when you have a descending line, so there you have a little descending line, and then it goes back up, and then it descends again. So you have a change of direction. So these are the kind of things where if it feels awkward, that's why. And why am I talking about this? Because you can simplify it. You hear how I played that melodic line? So just that little modal scale. Okay, so now I'm going to make a goal for myself. I can feel I'm kind of trying to play each individual note. And what I want it to feel like, and this is important for you to aim at. Now you see what I just did? I practiced the articulation and the airflow. I'm not even playing the trumpet. Oh, yeah, that's a staccato note, so I have to change my airflow. So I'm working on details that I want in the final musical expression, in the final performance, but I'm working on them at the most fundamental level. This is what I'm doing with my breath. Now, you can do that in a lot of different ways, and I challenge you and encourage you to think of creative ways to do this. What I did is I pursed my lips and kind of squeezed a little bit with my tongue so you can hear what I'm doing with the air. If I were doing this the way I'd play it on the trumpet, you'll hear, there's almost no sound because I'm not creating any friction, any resistance. I'm not squeezing or twisting the airstream in order to try and get control. I'm trying to go and just blow through very calmly. When you're bouncing around like this, that's hard to do. So I'm trying to bring it back to that level. And this whole piece, that's basically what you're doing because it's very quick. You have little gestures that change direction, and you have a lot of descending intervals. So what's the main goal? Can I get it down to a single airstream? So my blow is, that's all that's going on. Now if I'm starting to fight because I don't know the piece well enough, maybe I haven't gotten the fingerings down, I'm having trouble with the articulation, or as I demonstrated, I think pretty effectively, I've got too many things going on in my mind so I can't perform it well, then I need to get rid of all the complications and just do something really simple until it's fun and it stays interesting. It's challenging enough to stay interesting, but it's also challenging enough to make you work a little bit and keep going to see if you can improve it. So what am I going to try and improve? The first thing I'm going to try and improve is, can I sustain the line? Because I think I'm kind of chopping it up as I play. So I left out the staccato dot. Wow, that's a hard pattern without hearing the sound. Dia da dia da dia da dia da. Oh, so now I'm combining the dia da dia da dia da dia da, the rhythm and some tone together. And this is the way I practice. So, and I do it fairly rapidly, as long as I'm not getting ahead of myself. So let's see what I can do with that passage. First, I'm going to play a little bit slower and make a bridge to the passage. A little better. So the biggest problem that most players will have with this, and it's the problem that I'm fixing as I work right now, is they're starting to squeeze the air with the tongue, squeeze the air with the throat, maybe a little extra mouthpiece pressure, because now the air isn't getting through, getting past your tongue and your throat to support the vibration of your lips and to balance with the instrument itself. So now your vibrating area, the reed here, is not getting enough flow, release of flow, in order to maintain the vibration. So that's my first goal. Now I can feel that happening, and I know what I need to do to correct it. And if you can do that too, if you can feel when it's working well and when it's not, then you're ready to practice effectively. If you can't feel it, then you have to work with what you can feel and you can hear. And it's the combination of those two things that make it work. So I'm sorry for the sloppy performance today, but I hope my struggles help you to work out some issues. Now I can keep going for the rest of Christmas Day, even on this simple etude, because there's so much in terms of how we play the trumpet that's involved with it. For example, it goes into the low register. What I was working on there is I realized I'm doing okay, but I really don't, I need to exaggerate my intention of keeping that air connecting the notes. Now I'm not talking about playing all the notes exactly the same. I'm talking about continuous flow. Continue to flow when you go down, continue to flow when you go back up. And what that forces your body to do is figure out how to manage that flow in ways that are very simple, instead of trying to manage every note. Now, you got an out of tune note in there. So what I did is I extended the slide, and you can either do it to the specific place where you want to be for the D, or a little bit farther, on most horns, with most people, for the C sharp. Because if you try and individually do every note with the slide, it'll get a little bit awkward. In this case, you can just put the slide out to what's approximately the right place and play all the notes in tune. I'm digging a little bit for the lower note. Then I have to come back up again. I want to feel like I'm blowing straight. That's much better. Now you see I'm making really tiny detailed corrections. I know exactly what I'm what I'm aiming for, what I'm trying to improve. I know what I'm doing wrong. And so I can go back and investigate, oh, when I'm doing it poorly, when it feels bad, this is what I'm doing. Then look at that and then compare it to, oh, wait a minute, this feels better, this sounds better, this works better. What am I doing when I do that? It's basic practice technique. And that's the main reason why I'm doing these little etudes. Not as a performance, because if they were going to be a performance for you, I would practice them more, probably memorize them, and probably do some editing. but that's not the point. I hope you find some of my struggles to be useful for you, and you can carry them into your own practice. So I'll let you go do that now, and I hope you'll join me later on when you have a little bit of time. If you haven't already taken a look at my channel, please feel free to explore. There's, I think the last time I checked, there were 378 videos up. And I keep making them as long as I can. So these will just be a reference for you. If you find it useful, great. If you're getting results in your own playing, then that makes me happy. If that's the case, let me know, and also tell your trumpet playing friends, and hopefully the word can get out to a lot of other people. I'll leave it at that, and I'll let you go do your work. And I probably have to do some cooking and eating right now since it's Christmas Day. Have a great day. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.